Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm here with the new topic, that is constructors in Java. Firstly, what is the constructor in Java? A constructor in Java is a special type of method that is used to initialize objects. It's called when an object of a class is created and it has the same name as the class. Constructor can be used to set initial values for object attributes, perform any necessary setup steps, and ensure that the object is in a valid state. What does this statement says is a constructor, it's a special type of method. It will be same as a method. You can see in this image, this the person with an open braces, this is a constructor. Anyhow, the method is also same as this, right? In the method we use this name of the method, and then we will open this open brackets we'll use. Same how we write a method, we'll write as it is constructor in the same way, and it has a same name as a class name. You can see in this image the class name of this program is person, and the constructor is also person. And one more condition for a constructor is it doesn't return anything, and it has the same name as a class, and whenever an object is created, automatically the constructor is called. In this code you can see that there is no print statement, that is system.out.println, but if we use this constructor, a default constructor is used here. If we use this constructor, automatically a default value will be taken. If you print this code, you will get the output as unknown and 0. Next we have what's the purpose of constructor. We need to initialization and object creation and default values. In initialization, one of the main purpose of constructor is to initialize the state of an object. This involves setting initial values for an object's attribute, performing setups tasks, and ensuring that an object is in a consistent state as soon as it created. And next we have object creation. Constructions are responsible for creating instances of classes. They allocate memory for objects and set up the initial values for their attributes, allowing the objects to be used and manipulated within a Java program. And next we use for default values. As we have said in the first introduction part, constructors can provide default values for object attributes, ensuring that objects have meaningful initial state even if specific values are not explicitly provided during object creation. And what's the syntax of constructors? In the constructor, as I said in the introduction part, in Java, constructors are defined using a same name as a class. This is one point, and do not have any explicit return type. They won't return anything. They can also be overloaded by having multiple constructor with different parameter lists. And in invocation, to invoke a constructor, the new keyword is used to create an instance of class, which automatically calls the appropriate constructor based on the provided arguments. At last, initialization. Within the constructor definition, initialization of objects, attribute, and any necessary setups tasks are performed to ensure the newly created objects is in a valid and consistent state. And next we have a default constructor. In the default constructor we have implicit creation and no parameters. Implicit creation. If no explicit constructors are defined within a class, Java provides a default constructor automatically. This default constructor takes no arguments and performs basic setup for object. This statement says that whenever an object is created, the compiler itself automatically creates a default constructor. That's why it is called as an implicit. If we create, it is called as an explicit. And next we have no parameters. The default constructor do not have any parameter, and its primary purpose is to ensure that an object can be created within required any specific initial values. That means in this default constructor we don't have like a variable, string, int, nothing is there. No parameters are used in this default constructor. And next we have a key points for this default constructor. Syntax: same name as the class with no parenthesis. Class, an example, you can use this class name The syntax should be like this: syntax name, open braces and the flower braces. No return type like other constructor, it doesn't return any value, not even void. Automatic creation, compiler provides it if no other constructor exists. Initialization assigns default values to instant variables. For example, 0 for integer, false for booleans, null for objects. Optional, you can define your own default constructor if needed. When is a default constructor useful? When your class doesn't require specific values during object creation. To ensure objects always have valid initial states as a basic for other constructor using constructor chain. When you want any default values, that time we use this default constructor. See code for the Java default constructor. You can see the syntax of default constructor. It doesn't require any parameters such as int x or int y, nothing is there. And if you run, you'll get a 0, x is 0 and y is 0. Here is the code for the default constructor. A class with the person name and string name int age. You can see this is the default constructor. It has the same name of the class and the open bracket and close bracket. Inside the curly braces you have name equals to unknown, age equals to 0. See, you can see, and name and age we don't have any parameters for this like string or an int. And system.out, this is the print statement, a new person is born. And we have this public static void means string arguments, and person1 equals to new person. This is an object. We created an object here, creating a person object using a default constructor. Now if we run this thing, we get output as unknown and 0.